Hey, I'm up here. Hi there, Nigel with the Drive Wire, and I have the 2020 Toyota 4Runner TRD Pro, and you can see that it's on the badge on the side. All right, I'm gonna get down. I'll be right with you guys. Okay, that's enough messing around on the roof, but as you can see, that is a very nice roof rack basket, or whatever Toyota call it. It looks pretty good. Anyway, the other thing I like about this car is this army green paint. It's the color I would choose, and I love it. The only downside, and that sort of goes for a lot of paint these days, is it's a little soft, being eco-friendly, and it's a little sunny here. Let's get the shadows out of the way. But yeah, I went past a particularly sort of large bush on a narrow trail, and I sort of scratched it. Took the clear coat off, and hopefully Toyota doesn't get angry at me for doing that. But they should be able to buff that out when they detail it. Good looking car, it really is. First time driving actually a 4Runner, can you believe it? Anyway, the Pro's got these TRD skid plates up front. It's got the TRD badge in red, you can see right there. Great set of 17-inch alloy wheels with Nitto grappler tires all around, and it genuinely does look really quite nice. We can get a little closer look when we take a look. Actually, before we look at it, let me show you the rear hatch here. This one is actually fitted with a sort of cargo loading system. So it's on rails, you operate it here, you can pull that out and put your heavy gear onto that, and then slide it back. So normally there's a bar across here. I took it off. I needed to put a dog bed in here, but there's a bar across there to stop things sort of moving around. And this has a maximum capacity of 440 pounds, so that's quite a lot. You get a little bit of storage space in here, tie downs, and then of course your 120 volt AC and standard power in the back. So let me just close this. Quite heavy tailgate. Scoot around to the back here. Plenty of room in the back. Seats go down. What I really like about these seats is before you put them down, lucky move there, you old school, you move the seat forward and then put the headrest down, and then there's a little sculpted section right here for the headrest. Boom. Nice flat loading bay. Of course, we're on a hill, so it doesn't look flat now. But yeah, plenty of space, and this is the fake leather, so it's hard wearing, good for dogs, animals, kids, whatever you might have. All right, so we're inside. I had to move the car around because there's a little bit too much sun beaming down on me. Anyway, as you can see, and for those of you who already know, it's a somewhat dated design, probably Victorian era. But you know, Toyota's of the opinion that if it ain't broke, don't fix it. There are a couple of things that I believe still need fixing. The one I'm going to point out is the transmission. It's a little clunky. 5 speeds is not enough. The gaps between the speeds are bigger than the Grand Canyon. It needs a slightly more modern transmission. I don't think it necessarily needs any more power. This car has 270 horsepower. V6. It's definitely plenty enough to get it around. But yeah, bit of a glaring problem right there. And then it's got all the bells and whistles that you would need. If you look a little bit down here, we've got the shifter. I'm in H4 right now. You can move this to H2 on the fly, or start, put it in neutral and move into L4. For L4, you can then start playing around with some of the excellent stuff that it has on it. So right up here, hopefully you can see it, On the left-hand side, we've got crawl control. You can change the speed between 1 and 5 miles an hour. And this is a terrain control, depending on what kind of terrain that you're in. Mud and sand, loose rock, etc. And then my favorite, I don't know if you can see this, is on the right-hand side button is the rear diff lock, so you can lock the rear diff, and A-Track. So A-Track is a sort of form of traction control that you can use. It basically controls all the wheels, stops all the spin, particularly on loose sort of rock that I have here. It really works well. I'm really impressed with it. I'm going to show you guys when we go up this hill behind me in a second. You know, everything else is pretty good. Some of these plastics are a bit hard and scratchy. You've got 2 cup holders. This one has heated seats. And then in here you have more power. 120 watt, 12 volt power. A couple of little cubbies here and there. Another one at the front and 1 USB. Passengers in the rear get 2 USBs. I like it. I mean, gosh, I really like Jeep Wranglers, but you know what? Now that I think that Toyota built something that's pretty much good enough for me, wherever I might go off-road, and I'm not going to do any sort of super challenging stuff today. It's not my car. Toyota has loaned me this. I've already slightly damaged it on the side there. I feel a bit guilty about that. But anyway, all in all, I really like it. The new touchscreen is bigger. It's pretty easy to use. You've got Apple CarPlay. You've got maps on this one. It's pretty good. It works well. Touchscreen's reasonably quick. Below that, you've got your temperature controls on both sides. This one's got dual climate control, fans. Heated seats are down here. It does have a manual, let me just, the camera down here, it does have a manual S mode. For me, that's somewhat ridiculous. These seats are actually pretty comfortable. And again, this stuff is that sort of Toyota sort of fake leather that's easy to wipe off. This car, being a TRD Pro, also comes with these all-weather mats, which we've already got quite dirty. And then there's a decently spacious glove compartment for your stuff, as well as some decent pockets down here, trash and a drinks bottle. So yeah, all in all, I mean, I do kind of find these a bit odd up here. Normally they're a little bit lower, so it's kind of odd, and I've hit them by accident before. But hey, you know, it's an older design, and it sort of works, you know. So what we'll do now is we will turn the car around, and we're gonna go back up this hill, and I'm gonna show you how A-Track works, and then we're gonna come back down using the crawl control. It is somewhat bright. I picked the wrong time to drive towards the sun as it's sort of setting here. It's about 4 o'clock over here in San Diego. But anyway, I've got it in 4-wheel high. I have no other controls on. This section is relatively easy. In fact, for this car, most of this is going to be easy, so I don't want to hear any complaints that we didn't try hard enough. We tried enough to show you how this car is going to work. So let's go. Find I've driven a lot of cars with an electronic parking brake that clicks off every time you set off, and this one's the old left foot crank, and I keep forgetting to take the brake off, and it lets me drive down the road, and I think, well, this thing's a bit slow. But anyway, this first section is a little rocky, and but again, these Fox shocks that this one gets, the TRD Pro gets the Fox shocks. Try and say that fast when you're drunk. And it's a bit more compliant, and it even though we're getting bumped around a little bit, the ride is pretty good over some of this particularly rough terrain that we're going up. this somewhat steeper bit. Sorry, it's into the sun again. Steering's pretty good too off-road. It's not quite as light as, say, in a Jeep Wrangler, where, you know, you just fling it all over the place. But it's nice. It's got good weight to it. It works well off-road. I think it's pretty good. So what we're going to do here, we're just going to stop, and we're going to put it into neutral, and then we're going to put it into little dog leg to get it into two. Let's see what it's done. It's flashing lights at me, and then we're going to hit the A-track button. Okay, traction control is off. We're in 4 low, and I think A-track is now on. Okay, so now there should be zero slip. Now we have it in that gear. So this trail sort of slopes off a little to the left. There's quite a big rut in the road. You'll see that on the other footage that we've got. TRD is powering up here and doing a fine job while I am getting blinded by the sun. Anyway, when we get to the top, I don't know if we're going to see any border patrol or not, but they're often hanging around here because we're pretty close to the Mexican border here. Obviously, we would never take this vehicle into Mexico. We are not allowed for insurance reasons. That was for Toyota, not you. Anyway, I'm gonna have to put the visor down a little bit, but it seems to block the camera. So anyway, so we just peeked out at the top there. It's, you know, reasonably technical. I own a Subaru Outback, and I think it would have been somewhat slipping and sliding down that section. All right, so if we just do a quick turnaround here. Amazing views from up here. All right, so we're going to activate the crawl control here. All right, so we've got 1 mile an hour to 5 mile an hour. It's in the lowest speed right now, but I can adjust it on the fly. So I'm going to basically take my hands off, so my feet off the pedals. Now, you hear that noise, and it sort of scared the shit out of me when I first heard it, and I thought the car was going to brake. But weirdly, from the outside, it doesn't make anywhere near that noise. And apparently, after reading up on a couple of things, that is totally normal for this crawl control system. So if it sounds like your car's breaking apart, it's not. No need for the gas pedal while you're in crawl mode. You can adjust on the dial, fast, slow. one of the other reasons why I might consider even buying one of these things. It's super spacious. Always thought about a Jeep Wrangler. Obviously, there's a new Bronco to consider, but you know, this is going to be the most solid car that you could possibly drive. I really do understand why they shift, you know, so many of these cars. I think in 2019 they shifted somewhere in the region of 139,000 Toyota 4Runners. I think this year, despite the coronavirus, they should move close to 100,000, which is incredible. I mean, obviously Jeep sells a lot more, but you know, this is pretty good. So anyway, this is a pretty steep bit. Hopefully on the outside camera you'll see the whole track sort of leans over to the right, but the beauty of this system is that it leaves me, the driver, to steer, which I'm doing, and also look out for any possible obstacle that may cause a problem. And then as it gets less steep, considering we're only doing 1 mile an hour, I could probably play with this and speed up the process so it doesn't take us hours to get down here. So let's sort of do that right now, and we'll add a mile to the speed here. And so now you see the system has realized I want to go a little bit faster. It's actually quieter in this mode. I like that. Maybe it's really noisy in just the 1 mile an hour mode. There you go. You can hear the system kicking in. And because it's not so steep as it was back there, I might even consider moving to 3 miles an hour. Careful, let's not go crazy now. There's quite a large rut in the middle of the road as well. I don't really want to get caught in that. Really like this car, man. I'm a fan. I am a fan. Just a couple of little things that need to be changed on the interior, but other than that, I love it. Now, I say I love it, but it's not cheap. So this particular model that I have is $52,000. So that's quite a lot of money. Obviously, many people would maybe consider buying an SR5, a lesser model, and then just adding on the bells and whistles, skid plates, and chunky tires, shocks, and stuff like that after the fact. Okay, I'm going to wind it up to 4 miles an hour. Let's go crazy here. I really don't need it on this bit, but I'm going to keep it on anyway. Just until we get to this bottom bit, and then I'm going to turn it off, and then we're going to head back. Alright, a short little video of testing this car. Definitely got it dusty. There's no mud here, obviously, in Southern California at this time of the year, so we can't test it in mud. But I thought this was a pretty good trail to take it on and test its limits. And to be honest, this car, piece of cake. Marvelous. Good stuff. Well, again, thanks for watching. Huge dust cloud behind me. You can probably see that. We've created a huge fog. Again, thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, like the video, and the next one, I hope, is one of my most exciting videos. Yeah, I'm not going to tell you what car it is. You're just going to have to tune in and check it.